Hello and welcome to our program Violence Free World. My name is Kali Ikpe and I'm excited because I've got a special guest in the house. His name is Dr. Hakeem Baba-Ahmed. He is the Director of Publicity, Northern Elders Forum. Doctor, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much and thank you for inviting me.
We're going to be diving straight into our conversation, but after this special report, be here.
Nigeria is regarded as the most populous black nation in the world. This West African country has a population of about 200 million people, and its citizens, who are multi-ethnic and multilingual, practice mostly Islam and Christianity. This former British colony is ranked as the 6th largest producer of crude oil in the world, just as it is rich in agriculture and solid minerals. Nigeria's journey to nationhood, like many others, has been characterized by good and bad incidents. A peep at our route to nationhood points at the 1966 coup as the most dramatic incident. It led to the Civil War of 1967. Where millions of lives were lost and properties worth billions destroyed. While efforts at genuine reconciliation have continued, terror merchants with motives that are political, religious, and monetary have for a considerable while continued to visit mayhem on the citizens. The hallmarks of the present terror adventure are the insurgency in the northeast of Nigeria, the banditry in the northwest, herdsman crisis in the north-central and southwest Nigeria, and most recently, the Southeast is beginning to experience what looks like the Borno-based insurgency in its nascence. Violence has therefore become a common denominator across Nigeria. Fear is palpable. Many citizens are beginning to wonder if the situation is hopeless. The reality, however, in certain parts of Nigeria elicits hope. Many analysts will readily cite the calm in the Niger Delta region after a near-total war and the reversal in status in Kogi State as a former Boko Haram training and IED-making haven as strong pointers that the reign of terror is surmountable.
Welcome back. This is Violence Free World. I'm still here with my guest, Dr. Hakeem Baba-Ahmed. Doctor, now there's so much I said we're going to talk about. The situation in Kaduna seemed like defiance. One attack after the other, and in places that you ordinarily think a civilian would not dare go to. Then this train attack happened. You have bandits with the audacity to bring down a plane. You have them going everywhere, they say a thing and it actually goes and it happens. What kind of statement are these people trying to make? And I know you have audience with the powers that be when you want to, if you're not the power that be yourself. Now, what are you doing? What are we doing about this situation? Is this our new normal?
Well, I hope not. We pray to God that this will never be our new normal. We must never leave this legacy for our children. Actually, we must never learn to live like this, like rats running into holes every time you hear a gunshot. And this is from Borno to Calabar, from Sokoto to Bayelsa. Everywhere you go, people and Nigerians are living with fear. We must never tolerate this. We must never get used to it. And this is the challenge for the next leadership. We cannot lower our standards or our voices in demanding that leaders who swear on the Bible, on the Quran, that they will protect us, will actually protect us. The worst thing that can happen to this country is that we elect someone just simply because he has money, or he has always wanted to be president, or he had the right connections, and he becomes president. Because the challenges that will follow Buhari's 8 years are infinitely more challenging than the challenges that President Buhari met. Now he has made them worse. Now, so you're going to have an election in the next few months under very trying circumstances. These circumstances will be compounded by additional problems. How are you going to conduct an election in 5 states in the southeast? With what? Look at what it took just to have an election in Anambra. Negotiations with IPOB, negotiations with Ohaneze Indigo, Igbo elders coming in. Everybody has to come in and beg, and literally beg, and please allow this election to hold. Now, when you're going to have elections in 5 states in the southeast, then in the northwest, where huge territories have been virtually abandoned by villagers, they are running helter-skelter, hungry because they haven't farmed for the last 2-3 years. Look, what about the northeast? What about the north central? How are you going to have this election? Let's even assume that you can actually have elections in some parts of the country. What kind of leader are we going to elect who can actually deal with both the problems he has inherited from President Buhari, the problems the elections themselves will throw up, because we will have some problems. With all this talk about it must be a northern president, southern president, if you don't give us the presidency, we'll leave the country, we must have this, we must have this. Language that you will never hear in politics, must. And then, how do you begin to turn the country around? What do you need to do to stop the drift, to deal decisively with insecurity, to protect communities, give the citizen hope that there is a government that cares about him? Why, for instance, wouldn't President Buhari sit with the families of the people who are currently under abduction on the train? Why can't he sit with them and talk with them? Why can't he show some level of sympathy and empathy so that the citizen sees the president engaging? He is leading people. Why doesn't he go? Why doesn't he do more than just simply ask Garba Shehu or Femi Adesina to release statements? Why doesn't he do more than meet with service chiefs and say, do more than you're doing? Because clearly they're not doing any more than they have been doing. The situation is getting worse. We are dealing with a very, very difficult situation. Nobody is happy talking about Nigeria like this, because we were not like this before. This is not the Nigeria we grew up in. We grew up in a firm, strong, powerful nation. Wouldn't tolerate Metasenia, would not tolerate Oyenusi, we would not tolerate Anini. But now, every person can wake up and buy an AK-47 and terrorize a community. These bandits, we keep talking about bandits. I'm telling you, I'm Fulani substantially. We know 90% of the people who are in the bushes now demanding that the president should come to us and talk to us if he wants us to release these people that they abducted on the train. They were just ordinary, simple Fulani people who were only interested in being allowed to move their cattle around. What has happened? Where is our thinking capacity? Where is intelligence?
Was it the same ordinary people who are metamorphosed into this?
They were the same people. They are the same people. I'm telling you, 95% of the people engaged in banditry and kidnapping and all these things were Nigerian Fulani people. We like to say, oh, they came from Mali, they came from Niger. I'm telling you, that's nonsense. Maybe there are some infiltration of them from other parts of the country.
They tested the Jews. They saw that there's money here.
Or we mishandled whatever grievance they had, if they had any grievance. And they did have grievances. We mishandled it. We didn't think it was anybody's problem. Governors are now saying, oh, bring in mercenaries. Those governors, for years and years and years, some of these things were going on right under their noses. They have access to the president. People like us, Northern Elders Forum, we used to have access to the president. Now we don't have access to the president, but we have access to Nigerians. And we said
Is that why you now say, you insist that he should resign?
For 2 reasons.
Because you're not able to speak with him. I was going to take you up on that.
No. Well, if we had seen him, we would tell him to resign to his face. That's not the reason. If we had seen him, we would have said, Mr. President, admit it, you've run your course. You've done the best that you can, but your best is not good enough for this country. But we would have said so because it is also a fact. Our constitution has provisions for a president who cannot run this country to stand down. When
you get the opportunity now, are you still going to tell Mr. President to resign, as in like in face-to-face?
Absolutely.
And given the measures he's presently even taking, you heard what he said.
But he has done this all over. He has done this over and over and over again. How many times has he met with service chiefs? How many times have we read releases after that where they're saying, oh, the president was firm, you must do this. The president said we spent so much money buying weapons. Well, the president has done this and the president has done that. And yet the situation is getting worse. What is going on?
You know, I hinted at the impunity one time where people are doing. The president will ask people to do things, they do not do it, and yet they leave them at their desk and they continue to work. Now, people who are supposed to be in charge of the train or even the security around the area, have you had anyone is fired on the account of this?
No, I recently raised this same point in a different forum. And I said we have been waiting to hear if any staff, Nigeria Railway Corporation, SSS, military, anybody. If the Minister of Transportation, who is now running for the presidency of this country, says, oh, I've told them this rail line was vulnerable. We asked for money to improve surveillance and deal with this kind of situation. They didn't give us the money. There's no accountability in this country. But when you're talking about impunity, impunity means that doing things in spite of the law that says you shouldn't do that. That's what impunity is. You start with the president. The president is not accountable to the country. That's impunity. Because otherwise you have failed in the first and most important function as a leader, protect citizens, when you swore with the Quran.
Okay, Dr. Ahmed, there are a few more things I'm going to have to let you react to when we return from the break. Well, this is Violence Free World. I'll be right back after this time out. Please be here. Welcome back. This is Violence Free World. Dr. Ahmed, going forward now, your Governor El-Rufai is being bashed on the account of what he said recently, suggesting he will rather mercenaries come in here to handle the situation. That as a matter of fact, he can actually invoke that and then get her to work, knowing very well that he does not have that authority to do that. Some persons say he's just playing to the gallery. Elections times have come, so he wants attention. That's why he's saying all of this. Or do you think there are some other ways through which he can actually go ahead and make that happen? I know Zulum too had suggested he wants that happening too.
Mercenaries are not difficult to get, you know. A lot of people in the Sahel.
But does the law allow you here to do so?
No, of course not. They don't have the powers. They don't have the authority to bring a single person who is armed and to give him the authority to fight any other Nigerian. They know that. They are playing to galleries. But that is not, for me, that is not the worrying thing. Both Rufai and Zulum know they are just talking. And I don't think that, especially Rufai, has even the gallery to talk to. But what is more worrying, truly, is that it shows you the level of disarray at the highest decision-making body. The president and the governors are responsible for our safety. The governors to a lesser extent. The president as the chief security officer. The president should harness and improve the synergy between him and governors. He shouldn't have governors speaking in this manner, whether they are in your party or not. These are two people in his own party. And Rufai is as close to President Buhari as anybody can be. And if he can say this, knowing fully well, he's a lawyer apart from being a governor. If he says, oh, we will bring mercenaries, knowing fully well that he will not, he cannot, and he should not. He knows that. What does that say about his thinking about the president? He's saying the president has failed, and I, as a governor, will go out and bring in people who will defend my people. When do you have people? Our constitution vests entire powers of chief security officer in the president. The point I'm making is that even within the inner cycle of the President Buhari, you're beginning to have massive disarray. Massive disarray. The first time you heard somebody saying Rufai was out of line was weeks after he made that statement, and yesterday NSA Monguno was saying things like the comments made by President Buhari are not helpful. But again, it goes back to this: how much respect and how much integrity does our leadership enjoy? How much does the citizen feel that he has a leader? How much of that? When he cannot travel, he cannot sleep with his eyes closed. In Katsina State, women sleep on trees. In the night, they climb trees to sleep, so that when the bandits come, they don't see them. They sometimes have to use cloths to tighten the mouth of the baby so that they don't cry in the night. There are villages after villages after villages. You can drive for 10, 20, 50 kilometers. You will not see signs of human beings. These are places that used to have farms, farmlands, cattle, lives, markets. They're not there anymore.
You know, with this thing about nature, how it abhors vacuum, where there's no governance, some elements, be they human or otherwise, will step in and fill the gap to the extent that the ordinary persons are now beginning to feel normal with bandits around there, even paying taxes to them, assisting them. Even with if I hear that they even conduct intelligence on behalf of the terrorists, give them information about government movement, like the reverse. So there's like an alternative government now as far as banditry and insecurity in Nigeria is concerned. Is this that this nation is too big? Is that what the situation? I mean, I make this in reference to ungoverned territories. There are forests here and they're everywhere.
Yeah, people use. With due respect, it's time that we interrogate those words, ungoverned territories. They are not ungoverned territories to the degree that there is no government. There are no rules, there are no laws, they are just forests and any government, the Nigerian. They are ungoverned territories because the federal government is not there, the state government is not
presence.
there. Well, they have
That's what I mean.
Yes,
what
but
is
there is governance.
No presence.
But there is governance. Except the difference is that there is governance, but the governance is being conducted by criminals. They enact their law, so there is governance. People, you see, ungoverned territories in the past, until the recent past, would mean these are huge territories where there are people, there are livestock, there are other assets. But you don't see police, you don't see local governments, you don't see any real evidence of the state. But life has been going on there. We've had these ungoverned territories for a long time. They didn't just drop from the heavens yesterday. We've had these ungoverned territories. How is it possible? What explains the fact that they have not become threats They are ungoverned territories because they are being ungoverned by the federal government and the state governments and the local governments. But they're being governed by criminals. Criminals set the law, they set the rules. And look, when it makes no difference between living under a Nigerian state, where you're not safe, and living under a criminal, more or less says the same rules, sets the same rules for you. Many people, where would they go? They can't keep running for the rest of their lives. So they come to towns with the bandit and the kidnapper and the criminal. Why do you think people stay at home in the southeast? We were curious. How is it possible? Enterprising people, very proud people. We're talking about the Igbo. One of, I don't know what.
You're referring to this Monday sit-at-home order?
Yes. Why do you think 90% of the people obey?
It's fear.
Yes. And why do you think that fear is there? Because if they walk out of their house in defiance of IPOB, they can get shot or beaten up. Where is the state that is supposed to protect them? And every day, more and more people stay at home. On Mondays, IPOB is winning, and the Nigerian state is losing ground. And when there's nobody there, they can pick which police station to burn down, which federal road safety to do, which immigration office to do. They literally have the southeast sewn up. The governors know this, the federal government knows this, the police knows this, the military knows this. Is the southeast an ungoverned territory too? It may be ungoverned because the federal government is not governing it. State governments are limited to government house and the deals that they strike with IPOB, but it is being governed by IPOB. Or some elements that pretend to be IPOB. That's why we need to interrogate even the language you use. The country is yielding more and more ground to crimes and criminals. And that's the danger. Where does it stop? When we released our statement and said Mr. President should resign, there's a whole year for him to go. In this whole year, a whole of a difference can be made. And we said, we're not asking him to go. We realize that he has only a year to go. We know how difficult it is. We know it's not a small thing to ask a president to go. We know. We are responsible people. Most of us have had extensive experience in public service. We are responsible Nigerians. We love this country. We wish the president well. But when the president is failing in his job, even one day can make a difference. And that's why the Constitution says the president can actually resign or he can be impeached. So we said, sir, you've been saying this same thing. We will do this, we will do this, we will do this. But more and more and more of our people are just dying. We don't see the evidence.
Well, Dr. Ahmed, it looks like this will have to continue into the next episode. Okay. Now, I've been speaking with Dr. Hakeem Baba-Ahmed, and the conversation will continue by the next episode of the program. My name is Kale Ikpe. This has been Violence-Free World. Please remember to remain on the road to a violence-free Nigeria. I'll see you by the next episode.
No.